From the campuses of the University of Colorado in Boulder, Colorado, and the University of Minnesota in Minneapolis, Minnesota, the National Broadcasting Company, in cooperation with Good Housekeeping magazine, presents the transcribed College Quiz Bowl. Tonight, the University of Colorado is out to challenge the varsity scholars from the University of Minnesota, the school that returns to the College Quiz Bowl for the 8th straight week. And now, here in Radio City, New York, is your master of the quiz, Alan Ludden.
Hi there, everybody. Happy New Year to you. We're glad to have you with us for another intercollegiate battle of the brains. This afternoon, Ohio State met Southern California in the Rose Bowl, and Mississippi met Navy in the Sugar Bowl. Right now, Colorado meets Minnesota in the Quiz Bowl. So let's say hello to the teams. First, we're going way out to Minneapolis, Minnesota, where Bob Boyle of station KSTP, Minneapolis, St. Paul, is on hand to serve as the referee for the Minnesota team. Are you with us, Bob?
Right here, Alan. And so is the remarkable University of Minnesota team. This big New Year's game doesn't bother them much. What they did in 1954, they can do again in 55. Here they are to say hello.
Colleen Helgeson Nelson, Brooklyn Center, Minnesota.
Eleanor Vale, Minneapolis, Minnesota.
Joe Schechtman, Minneapolis, Minnesota.
Chuck Mulkey, Hopkins, Minnesota.
There you have the varsity scholars from the University of Minnesota. Now we're going to travel even further west, way out to Boulder, Colorado, where Bob Lilly of station KOA Denver is standing by to referee for the Colorado team. Are you there, Bob?
I sure am, Alan. And from cool, colorful Colorado, where 4 million tourists come yearly to visit, the University of Colorado team is ready to challenge the 8-time winner, Minnesota. Say hello, team.
John Moore, Aurora, Colorado.
Gary Bickle, Longmont, Colorado.
Lynn Forbes, Farnham, New Jersey.
Harry Sterling, Denver, Colorado.
All right, there you've met both teams and heard the Chamber of Commerce from each state speak up. Now, how about those rules, Roger?
Right, Alan, and here they are. Alan Ludden asks a toss-up question worth 10 points, and the first team to signal it knows the answer gets a chance to answer it. When the University of Colorado signals, you'll hear... And when the University of Minnesota signals, you'll hear... By means of a special electronic selector, the team which signals first, even by a split second, activates its light here in New York City and makes it impossible for the other team's light to flash. The team with the most points at the end of the game is the winner and returns next week to defend its title in the College Quiz Bowl.
Okay, thank you, Roger. Now, remember, teams, you may interrupt the toss-up question before I've finished asking it, but if you do... And if your answer is wrong, your team will be penalized 5 points, and I'll repeat the question, giving the other team a free crack at it. Those are the rules. That's the opening whistle, so let's go. Here's your first toss-up. Coming up first is a 30-point bonus. Here is the toss-up. One of the big news stories of the year just passed was Roger Bannister's record-breaking mile. For 10 points, tell us the name of the very famous runner who had, up until May 6, 1954, held the world's record for the fastest mile. Minnesota.
Chuck Mulkey.
Gunnar Haig in 1944 ran a 4014.
That's right to the split second. Gunnar Haig. Minnesota, you got a 30-point bonus by Chuck's knowing that. Here's your bonus, Minnesota. It has been said that truth is stranger than fiction, but fiction has produced some mighty odd situations. Now, for 10 points each, I want you to name the author of the work or the author in which each of the following strange things happen. An individualistic lady who slides up the banister instead of down it.
Joe Schechtman.
Mary Poppins, isn't it?
Mary Poppins by Pamela Travers. Right. Okay, that's 10 points. Now, a group of people who defy society, modern society rather, by moving into a tree.
The Grass Harp by Truman Capote.
Oh, a drama major, of course, Eleanor Vale. All right, an operatic heroine who marries without even knowing the name of her spouse.
Elsa.
Elsa in
Lohengrin.
By
Richard Wagner.
By Wagner, right. Okay, here we go with another toss-up question. And your bonus in the offing is 25 points. It's a biblical toss-up. Rebecca could have called him hubby, and Jacob Minnesota.
Eleanor Vale.
The father, Jacob.
Can you take... all right, 5 points penalized to Minnesota. I penalize Minnesota 5 points.
Isaac.
Wait a minute. I'll repeat the whole question for Colorado. And it's a biblical toss-up. Rebecca could have called him hubby, and Jacob and Esau probably called him dad. For 10 points, who is he, Colorado?
Gary Bickle.
That's Isaac.
That's Isaac, right, for 10 points. Oh, Ellen, what you did. Okay, here's a 25-point bonus, Colorado. You know, in this initial happy world that we live in, it's sometimes difficult to make sense out of a newspaper story. Now, for a possible 25 points, see if you can translate the following imaginary news item. Just a minute, before I go on, could the public address system in Colorado be turned down a little? If it could, it would help us, I think. The quality of our program would be helped a lot. All right, now, Colorado, here is your imaginary news item, and you are to translate the following initials in it. Mr. X had planned to travel by BOAC next week on an official mission concerning GAAT and FAO. But he decided to postpone his trip when the WMO predicted a European Edna. Now, you're going to get 5 points for each abbreviation that you properly identify, and 25 if you get all four. Anybody on the Colorado team?
John Moore. The first is British Overseas Airway Corporation.
Right.
The second is General Agreement on Trade and Tariffs.
Right.
The third is Food and Agricultural Organization.
All right. That's 20 points. No, that's 15 points. I beg your pardon. All right. Now, you'll make it 25 if you get the next one. WMO.
Is that World Meteorological Organization?
Right.
Hey.
The full 25 points. Okay, what's the score, Roger?
Right now, University of Colorado has 35. Minnesota has 35, Alan.
Okay, now, that's the score. Now, let's find out, Roger, here at this tie point, what the stakes are in this quiz game.
Good time to take a minute out, Alan.
Yeah.
Each week, Good Housekeeping magazine will award to the school of the winning team a $500 gift to be administered by the college. Now, it may go to a scholarship fund or to a campus activity. And to each member of the losing team, they'll receive an attractive, dependable Whitnor wristwatch, a distinguished member of the Longines Whitnor family of fine watches, since 1866, maker of watches of the highest character. Well, those are the stakes, Alan. I've given you the tie score, so how about another toss-up?
All right, this is the tight one. Coming up is a 30-point musical bonus. Here's your toss-up. For 10 points, through what river or rivers do the westerly flowing waters of the Continental Divide reach the ocean? Colorado.
Gary Bickle.
Through the Colorado River?
Yes. The river or rivers. I'll accept the Colorado River or the Columbia River, which flows into the Pacific. All right, 10 points for Colorado. Here's your musical bonus, Colorado. The following popular songs mention 3 of the 5 senses. For 10 points apiece, name the sense mentioned in each song. Name the sense. Sight. Right. Okay. All right. Name the sense. C-I. All right. Now, I want you to be more specific. All right. Can you name the sense? The touch of your hand. All right. Name the sense mentioned in this title.
Hear your voice.
What's the sense?
Well, speech.
Hearing.
Hearing?
Hearing. All right. I accept on a bonus question the right answer when I hear it. I Hear a Rhapsody was the name of the song. I Hear a Rhapsody. Score, Roger.
Right now, University of Colorado has 65 points. Minnesota has 35, Alan.
And coming up is a 40-point bonus. Okay, here's your toss-up. Listen carefully. This is confusing. The first man's name is the same as the second man's middle name. The second man's middle name is the same as the third man's last name. Now, the first man was a writer, the second man a botanist, and the third man a president. For 10 points, what is the name? No takers? All right, I'll tell you. Washington. Washington Irving, George Washington Carver, and George Washington. Okay, coming up still is a 40-point bonus. For 10 points, tell us. author created the following characters? Nick Adams, Lieutenant Henry, and Minnesota.
Joe Scheckman.
Ernest Hemingway.
Ernest Hemingway, right. You got a 40-point bonus, Minnesota. Sometimes the names of animals sound like other things, Minnesota. Now, for 10 points apiece, I want you to identify first the name of the animal that, according to a slang word, is probably the most talkative.
Gabby, Gab, Parrot, Hen.
Yak for 10 points. Okay, here we go. There's still 30 points left in this one. A bat that, according to its name, has a keen interest in aviation.
Vampire? No.
Flying fox. A bat with a fox's face. 20 points left. The ungulate. The ungulate that sounds like a small wax candle.
Tapir.
Tapir, that's right. All right, the animal that, according to its name, weighs very little indeed.
Mite.
Ounce, or snow leopard. Ounce, or snow leopard. Okay, coming up is another 40-point bonus. Score, Roger.
Right now, University of Colorado has 65. Minnesota has 55, Alan.
And a 40-point bonus is in the offing. Here is your toss-up. For 10 points, tell us, what foreign president's name, when translated into English, means literally Joe Coffey? Minnesota.
Colleen Nelson.
That would be President Coffey Fio of Brazil.
That's right. Brazil's president, Coffey Fio. Colleen, I couldn't pronounce his first name either. That's perfectly all right. Okay, here's another 40-point bonus for you to try on, Minnesota. It's a history quiz to test your knowledge of events in the news during the month of January. 10 points for each correct answer. What is the name of the famous document that went into effect on January 1st, 1863?
That's the Emancipation Proclamation.
That's right, the Emancipation Proclamation. What famous city fell on January 10th, 1939?
Warsaw, Poland? No.
January 10th?
1939.
That was before the start of the... might have been Helsinki. Yeah.
It was Barcelona during the Spanish Civil War. All right, by what title do we know the man named William Joyce, who was hanged in London for
Lord Haw-Haw.
treason? All right. For treason on January 3rd, 1946. Lord Haw-Haw is the name I was looking for. 10 points. Now, what country proclaimed itself independent on January 25th, 1945? India at New Delhi. India at New Delhi. All right. Score, Roger.
Right now, Minnesota's leading with 85 points. Colorado has 65, Alan.
And coming up as a 30-point bonus, here is a musical toss-up. I'm going to play an excerpt from a popular song. Now, for 10 points, you to tell us what connection the song has with a housewife named Mrs. Hewlett Hodges. Minnesota.
Colleen Nelson.
Well, the song, I believe, would be Stars Fell on Alabama, and the housewife was recently injured by a meteorite which fell through the roof of her home.
I don't think that was fair. I wanted to hear that music. Would you play a little bit? You really cut. Did you know that was coming, Colleen?
Well, I just had an intuition out.
All right, here we go. Use your pencils and papers, Minnesota. 30 points. I'm going to define a series of letters. This is very tricky. A series of letters which, when put together, spell the last name of a man recently in the news. You're to give us the name in 10 seconds after I've finished. All right? The first letter is the chemical symbol for the halide having the lowest molecular weight.
F. Fluorine.
The second is the middle initial of poet Cummings.
E.
The first letter in the name of the signing place of Magna Carta.
Runnymede.
Now,
It looks like Enrico Fermi to me.
the least you can do is let me finish it. The next is the first letter in the last name of a famous painter of haystacks.
No, well, that'd be Monet.
That'd be Monet, that's right. And finally, the letter associated with oneself, and Fermi is right. Enrico Fermi, 30 points for Minnesota.
Alan, that's the whistle. for the halftime, which calls for a 1-minute timeout right now.
Okay, now we're going to meet the teams, but first, may I say, I'd like to remind you that each month, Good Housekeeping magazine runs a page of college quiz bowl questions. Now, for a chance to match your wits with our collegiate champions, see the January issue of Good Housekeeping magazine. It's on the newsstands right now. You know, Good Housekeeping also awards the $500 weekly cash prize that goes to the college of the winning team here in our Radio College Quiz Bowl. Now, let's take out 60 seconds here and talk to our teams. First, I want to meet the challengers, the brilliant challengers out there in University of Colorado. John Moore, you're a sophomore, I understand.
Yes.
What's your major?
Physics.
Physics? What are you going to be when you graduate?
I plan to go on to graduate study and probably work as either as a physicist or a mathematician.
Very good. Gary Bickle, how are you classified?
I'm a major in economics and philosophy, Alan.
I understand that you were recently a candidate for a Rhodes Scholarship, right?
Yes, I was, but I didn't quite make the grade, Alan.
But you made it quite a ways. You got how far in the competition?
I got to the Southwest District competition in Pasadena, sir.
Quite an accomplishment, I think, Gary. Lynn Forbes, what are your plans upon graduation?
Well, I plan to be a teacher.
Good.
After going to graduate school.
Wonderful. Glad to have good people teaching. Harry Sterling, what are your plans?
I plan to practice law.
When?
After I graduate, I'm a junior, now pre-law.
All right, fine, Harry Sterling. Now, let's travel out and listen to this. I want to travel out to the land of the sky blue water, the land of 10,000 lakes. And what else did they tell me to say about it? Now,
Alan.
The land of the sky blue water to see what the team from the University of Minnesota has cooked up. Now, I understand, Joe Scheckman, that you've got it all planned, right?
We sure have, Alan. For the past 8 weeks now, you've been quizzing us, and tonight we want to reverse the process and quiz you. So, on your toes, Mr. Ludden, for this question from Chuck Mulkey.
For 55 points, Alan, give me the nickname of a man who was formerly governor of Kentucky, High Commissioner of Baseball. The same nickname is applied to a comic strip character years ago.
Oh, that would be Happy.
Right, Alan. Happy Chandler, and the comic character would be Happy Hooligan. Right for 55 points. Eleanor?
For 900 points, Alan, if you read the list of 48 states, what one word would be repeated most often?
Well, now, you know, that's a new one.
Did I hear new?
Yeah.
New is right for 900 points. That's New York, New Jersey, New Mexico, and New Hampshire. Okay, Colleen, it's your turn. For 1,000 points, complete the following quotation frequently used by those pursuing agrarian occupations. This is the...
Year.
Right, for 1,000 points. Time and score, Mr. McGregor?
The time, January 1st, the score, 1,955.
Happy New Year. Oh, that's very good. That's very good, Minnesota. That was an original script from the pen of whom?
Dean Eric McDermott, the Dean of the College of SLA.
Well, of course, and I want to congratulate Dean McDermott. Now it looks like our time up is up, so let's get on to the game.
Well, let's get back to the real score right now, Alan.
Okay.
University of Colorado has 65 points. Minnesota has 125. We have 9 minutes to go in the quiz.
And we have a 20-point bonus in the offing. Here's your toss-up. What fictional character is best known for an aversion to arachnids? Minnesota.
Joe Scheckman.
A Little Miss Muffet.
Right, Little Miss Muffet. What's an arachnid? What's an arachnid, Joe?
A spider.
That's right. 20 points. Here's your bonus. Complete the first verse of the Tennyson poem which commences, "Ring out wild bells to the wild sky."
The flying cloud of the frosty night, the year is dying in the night. Ring out wild bells and let him die.
Let who die?
Let him.
Let him die. Well, my script says her die, but we won't quibble about that. It's the year gone by. Had you planned to recite more of that?
Well, we know it.
Good.
20 points and very fine. Okay, here we go with the 40-point bonus coming up. Here's your toss-up. For 10 points, complete the last phrase of this sentence from St. Paul's Commentary on Charity. This is a toss-up. Though I speak with the tongue of men and angels and have not charity, I am become as sounding brass or a... Minnesota.
Joe Scheckman.
Tinkling cymbal.
Right, for 10 points, here's your 40-point bonus, Minnesota. You know, prime ministers and statesmen have often in history had difficulty in convincing their royal rulers of the wisdom of their views. Now, for 10 points apiece, I want you to name the king, queen, or emperor under whom each of the following statesmen served. First, for 10 points, Gladstone.
Queen Victoria.
Right. Talleyrand.
That would be Louis the... Let's see. 16.
Napoleon. Talleyrand.
Napoleon.
Napoleon.
Talleyrand.
He was
Okay.
the sixth Louis.
Bismarck.
That would be William II and William I.
Right. Right, Metternich.
Metternich of Austria. That would have been 1815. Who was Queen of
The,
Austria?
the Emperor of the Holy Roman Empire, wasn't it?
Yes,
Not
what was his
Otto,
name?
was it?
No.
Francis the First or Francis the Second? That is the title of his last Holy Roman Emperor. All right. What's the score, Roger?
Right now, Minnesota has 185. Colorado has 65. We have 7 minutes to go, Alan.
And coming up is the 40-point bonus. You could boost it up to 100 with this, Colorado. Here we go. We'll give you a capsule description of a famous man. For 10 points, you name the man. He was an American, historian, mini singer, goat breeder, and poet. Colorado.
Gary Bickle. That would be Carl Sandburg.
That would be right for 10 points, Colorado. All right, here is your bonus, Colorado. You're to stretch your imaginations now and suppose that certain famous people of fiction and fact were to insert advertisements in the classified column of the newspaper. I'll read the ad, and for 10 points each, you're to tell us who might have inserted it or from what work of literature it might have come, okay? Here's the first. Quote, professional assistance needed. Dentist who can relieve sore gums and teeth caused by stones. Excellent conversationalist. Who would that be? What did I hear?
Demosthenes?
That's right, Demosthenes. That's right, the Greek orator who corrected his speech impediments by placing pebbles in his mouth. All right. Now tell me, who might have inserted this ad? For rent. Large empty lot. Collapse of previous house not due to quality of land. Consult estate of Madeline Yu.
Paul House of Usher.
Right, for 10 points. All right. Now, for hire. Services of an excellent weaver with years of experience. Applicant especially good with pawls.
Madame Defarge?
No. Although that... Penelope. Pawls limits to Penelope from the Odyssey, okay? Wanted. Mother's helper to assist with child who seems to show homicidal tendencies. Contact Mrs. Penmark.
Oh.
Yes. Hurry.
Oh,
It just opened on Broadway.
I know.
The Bad Seed by William March. Maxwell Anderson's dramatization. Just opened on Broadway. Scoring time, Roger.
Well, Alan, they came within 5 points of that 100. Colorado has 95. Minnesota has 185. We have 4.5 minutes to go.
And I have a 30-point musical bonus in the offing. Here we go. Colorado, Minnesota. A girl with keen eyesight from Dark County, Ohio, married a man named Frank Butler. She was adopted by Sitting Bull. Minnesota.
Joe Schechter.
That was Annie Oakley.
That's right. For 10 points, who was she? Annie Oakley. Here's your musical bonus, Minnesota. For some reason, the preludes to Act 3 in 3 different Wagnerian operas have become popular concert pieces. Now, for 10 points apiece, you are to identify the opera from which each of the following third act preludes is taken. First.
My singers. Is the Valkyrie?
No. Just a minute. Check that record, would you please?
That doesn't sound
All right, check that. She says, Meister Singer's the answer I got from Minnesota.
No.
What? All right, no, that's wrong. It is not. It is Lohengrin. All right, fine. Now, from what opera is this taken?
Oh, that's Tristan and Isolde.
Prelude to Act 3 from what opera?
Or is it Parsifal?
No, that is the Meister Singer.
Oh, God.
All right, from what opera is this the third act prelude?
Siegfried's Ranger?
No.
Is it Tannhäuser? Tannhäuser, possibly?
Is that what I hear? Did I hear Tannhäuser?
Yes, you did.
All right, I'll accept it. That is Tannhäuser, the third act prelude. All right, scoring time, Roger.
3 minutes to go. Minnesota has 205. University of Colorado has 95. Alan.
And I have a 25-point bonus in the offing for 10 points. The title of what Russian novel might suggest the story of a person with a low IQ? Minnesota.
Eleanor Vale.
The Idiot by Dostoevsky.
The Idiot by Dostoevsky. Right for 10 points, Minnesota. Here is your 25-point bonus, Minnesota. You know, American geographical place names are often derived from the names of foreign peoples, foreign cities, and foreign countries. I'm going to give you 4 names so derived. For 5 points apiece, you're to name the American state from which each is located. I'm going to give you 4 names. This is the 20-point bonus. No, it's a 25-point bonus. I'm going to give you 5 names. 5 names, so do I. First of all, Lima from the Peruvian city named Lima.
Ohio.
Right. You were to name the American state in which the place is located. I said that, didn't I? All right. Germantown.
Pennsylvania.
Right. New Britain.
Connecticut.
Right. New London.
Connecticut.
Frenchman's Flat.
That's in Missouri, isn't it?
No.
Louisiana? No, Nevada. You got 20 points on that, out of the 20 possible 25. Here we go with a 20-point bonus coming up. For 10 points, here's your toss-up. What touchy question of sovereignty discussed at the United Nations in December put the United States in the position of having to vote against one good friend and for another good friend? Colorado.
Vico. I believe that's the question of Morocco, in which France and the Moroccan nationalists are at dispute.
No, can you take it, Minnesota?
Chuck Mulkey.
Alan, that concerns the French in Southeast Asia, doesn't it?
No, I'm sorry. It concerns the Cyprus. It's the Cyprus question. The Greeks proposed the British sovereignty of the Isle of Cyprus end, and that isle be united with Greece. The United States voted against the proposal. All right? Coming up still is a 20-point bonus. Here's your toss-up for 10 points. To whom was William Shakespeare referring when he said, quote, age cannot wither her nor custom, Minnesota?
Joe Schechtman.
Cleopatra.
Cleopatra, right, for 10 points, Minnesota. Here's your 20-point bonus question. 2 young men were good friends. One was a soldier and one was the son of a king of Israel. The king became jealous of the soldier's
that
abilities.
would be David and Jonathan.
I haven't finished yet. Now, hold on.
Okay.
All right, the king became jealous of the soldier's abilities and determined to kill him, but the king's son warned the soldier to escape before to become the king of Israel. For 20 points, who were the king, his son, and the soldier?
Saul, David, Jonathan.
That's right. Saul, David, and Jonathan. Eleanor, you got the Bible question. Very good there. Here we come with a 20-point bonus in the offing. Here's your toss-up for 10 points. Tell us, would a numismatist... Oh, this is great. A numismatist be most apt to wear short pants, heavy pockets, or a turtleneck
Alan,
sweater?
we'll give you a week to practice on that one because that's the game for this week.
Heavy
Final
pockets.
score in tonight's College Quiz Bowl is 95 points for the University of Colorado and 265 points for the winner, the University of Minnesota. Happy New Year, and to each member of the Colorado team, it's our pleasure to award an attractive and dependable Whitnor wristwatch, a distinguished member of the Longines Whitnor family of fine watches. Since 1866, makers of watches of the highest character. For fielding the winning team tonight, the University of Minnesota will receive a $500 gift from Good Housekeeping magazine to be administered by the college. And these varsity scholars from Minnesota will return next week to compete in the new All-American Quiz game with the varsity scholars of Tulane University, Newcomb College at New Orleans, Louisiana. In the meantime, to try your hand at more of these questions, read the Quiz Bowl page in the January issue of Good Housekeeping magazine.
Listen tonight to the Boston Symphony Orchestra on the NBC Radio Network.